I was driving DSA. I've been listening to the Calling and Purpose series. I felt so bad that I've not been able to discover my purpose. I was cracking my brain so hard. I began listening. I believe that's listening to the series. I am a benevolent person. People say, and I know, I hate suffering of people. I love all people. I like to make people happy and cheerful. I think of others' needs before myself. I give graciously. I see needs of people that others miss. I hate unkindness. Still, I couldn't tell what that leads to.
He didn't know that leads to his own calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could
Yes.
stop at this point.
Okay.
So my question is, why is it that people, and people say that a lot, I've been trying to get it, but I still can't get it. Why is it that people still don't get it, even though they try? Because I believe there's somebody listening right now who may also be at this point where they've been telling the person about purpose. Okay, it makes sense, but I'm not getting it, although I am trying.
Well, first of all, we have to realize that what this person is, the topic of this letter itself, or this program is, I discovered my calling, which means what the scenario that she was narrating to us, or he is narrating to us in the beginning of this letter, is not after he had started listening to my messages, but this was before he was trying to reminisce it about his life in general. That in the last 20-something years that he has been a Christian, he knew that he had all these features, but he never knew that these things would lead to his or her calling. But he was saying that he felt so bad that all these years he has been in church, he's been going to church. Why is it that nobody could tell him or lead him to even give him some ideas about how to discover his calling? Now, and he was driving when all these things were going on in him, because this was when he started listening to my messages and he began to discover himself. He began to know who he is. So this is what I have found out right now, that in fact, I didn't even know before that there are people, Christians, who go to African churches, they don't even know there is anything like calling and purpose. It is after I started doing this live broadcast that, first of all, the first person I had it from was Mayowa. Mayowa said, I never even had anything about purpose or calling. I said, and you've been in church for 10 years? You never heard of calling and purpose? She said, no, I never even heard about it. I thought my calling and purpose is just to come to church, to serve God by giving and she was giving dangerously. She was giving her money to the pastor, to the church, to support the church. She was doing everything they tell her to do in church. So that was her own way of calling. So she didn't know that she herself is significant enough to have a calling and purpose. But then, since 3 years now that I've been doing this live broadcast, I keep on hearing people say that the only time they think about purpose or calling is when they are planning or they think of surrendering their life, or in the sense of withdrawing from their job, from their profession, and going to become a fivefold minister. So that the only kind of purpose and calling that they even those ones of them who have had, though, the thing they have had is that only fivefold ministries. But the majority of the other people, they have never even heard that they individually have a calling and a purpose. So this person's situation is even much more better than the situation of a lot of people who come to church, that they don't even know that they have a purpose or a calling. Talk less of not discovering it, because this person knows that she has, but other people didn't even know that they have. At least this person was looking for it and was wondering why she couldn't find it or why he couldn't find it, but the other people didn't even know they had lost everything or they need to find anything at all. So the situation in this that this person is painting here is exactly what is happening in most charismatic and Christian evangelical churches, where even the mainline, Catholic churches and other churches, when you are not taught at all, church is not a place where they are teaching you anymore. They are not opening your eyes to know that you have a calling, you have a gifting, and you have a purpose why God sent you here to this world. So, this is why one of the reasons why we say we don't have churches in Africa at all. We don't have church any longer. We have ministry industrial complex. We have, just like we have military industrial complex in America, now it is ministry industrial complex. We have church business, we have merchandise gospel, we have slave camps, we have prison yard that we call churches, and concentration camps where pastors are the wardens, and that's what we have right now, not church. So because if you, the only thing the way church has been presented to you is that you will only need to be coming here and make sure you show up so that you will fill the empty seats, and so that the ego of the pastor will be will be puffed up that his church is filled up, and that the church no empty place, and that whenever he says anything you have to clap for him. So you are somebody's fan, like football fans, like audience. You are just being used to feed somebody else's ego. That's number one. Then secondly, why you are a slave is because you have to go and work and be bringing the money to the pastor that you don't even know what he uses the money for. So these are all big challenges what the church has. If that is what your church is doing, you don't have a church. You have a concentration camp. You have a prison yard. And you have a warden that you call pastor. Of course, they make you feel good, just like pubs and bars and casinos and nightclubs and discotheques make you feel good as well. But they only use different instruments of making you feel good. In those places, they make you feel good through music as well, just like they do in church. And you put some intensification there, but they also use intensification in church as well. So, you are all, most people in the African churches were in a mess. The church is supposed to be a place where you discover yourself, where you discover God, and where you discover life and your purpose in life. So if the church is not giving you or offering you that, you don't belong to a church. You belong to a cult. So that is the challenge why this person, even though 20 years in church or over 20 years in church, could still not discover who she is or who he is. Now, I never met this person before. He was only listening to my messages on YouTube, and that was enough. Just by driving, listening to my messages, by driving to work every day, listening to my messages, it's enough for her in a matter of a week or less to discover who she is. Unlike the 20 years she had spent in church. So that's why we say we don't know gospel. If the true gospel is preached, everybody in that church or in any church will know who they are, and they will be living for their purposes and their calling. If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button, and the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word. Share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.